F1 teams caught cheating. From Harry Schnell's clever shortcut to Michael Schumacher's controversial tactics, Formula One has seen it all. How did these crafty moves affect the outcomes of races? What were the consequences for the teams and drivers involved? How far is too far when it comes to gaining an advantage? How do these incidents shape the values of fair play and sportsmanship in the sport? Too many questions, right? Don't worry, we'll answer it all in this one video, so stay tuned till the end. In Formula One, the quest for victory has led to some memorable rule-bending moments. Drivers and teams are driven by a desire to win, often pushing the boundaries of the rulebook. These clever interpretations sometimes cross the line into cheating. Cheating often goes unnoticed unless someone gets caught. To reach the top, teams have employed tactics that range from track shortcuts to sneaky technical innovations. What makes these stories so unforgettable, and how do they impact the sport's integrity? Want to know about it? Well, let's get to the moments when rulebooks were kept aside. Cutting corners. Harry Schnell, 1959 United States Grand Prix. In the 1950s, Harry Schnell, a relatively lesser-known figure in Formula One, made a surprising move that caught everyone's attention. Switching to a Cooper T51 at Sebring, he managed to secure a remarkable third place on the grid, bumping Ferrari's Tony Brooks off of the front row. How did he do it? By taking a clever shortcut during his qualifying run, cutting out a significant portion of the track to shave off precious seconds. While his audacious maneuver initially went unnoticed, fate had other plans, as his clutch gave out on the 6th lap. Despite the setback, Schnell's unorthodox tactic left a lasting mark on the history of Formula One, making today's track limit disputes seem like a minor fuss in comparison. Water-cooled brakes. Brabham and Williams' 1982 season. During the rise of turbocharged engines in Formula One, their powerful performance became a hit. However, the lighter, naturally aspirated cars held a weight advantage. To comply with regulations, non-turbo teams like Brabham, Williams, and McLaren devised a clever strategy. They built their cars underweight, compensating by adding ballast to meet the required weight. Furthermore, rules dictated weighing the cars with all necessary fluids, giving these teams an edge. In response, they devised a mysterious use of water-cooled brakes. By topping up the water tanks at the race start, they could jettison it towards the brakes, ensuring that the cars remained under the weight limit during the race. Later, they could refill the tanks for the post-race inspection, showing the correct weight. However, after protest, Brabham and Williams were disqualified from the 1982 Brazilian Grand Prix by the FIA, signaling the end of this practice. This incident led to a divide between turbo and non-turbo cars, with the latter group opting out of the San Marino Grand Prix. Running underweight. Tyrrell, 1984 season. Back in the early 1970s, Tyrrell was a strong force in Formula One, but as budgets skyrocketed, they struggled to keep pace with their rivals. While turbo engines were all the rage, Tyrrell stuck to their more affordable Cosworth DFY V8 engines. These were no match for the turbo sheer power, which left Tyrrell trailing behind. So they got crafty. They designed their 012 car to run lighter than the rules allowed, exploiting a loophole that allowed post-race water top-ups. But when this tactic got axed, they had to get even more creative. They started filling their car with a mix of water and lead during pit stops to meet the weight requirements. It worked for a while until suspicions were raised due to spilled lead in their pit box. To top it off, they spiced up the water mix with fragrances to amp up their engine's performance. This landed them in big trouble, leading to their disqualification from the entire 1984 season and their drivers getting banned from the last 3 races. Traction control, driver aids, and refueling trickery. Benetton, 1994 season. In 1994, Formula One shook things up by banning fancy technology. Ayrton Senna, now racing for Williams, suspected Benetton of sneaking around the rules. His suspicions grew after noticing Benetton's super speedy pit stops and a strange engine sound. Things got worse after Senna's tragic accident. To clear the air, the FIA asked Benetton, McLaren, and Ferrari for their tech details. Benetton got in trouble for being slow to share, blaming their engine supplier Cosworth. The FIA stumbled upon Benetton's secret Option 13 launch control hidden in their software, like a secret cheat code. They also found out about Benetton's no-filter fuel pump, making their pit stops lightning fast. Benetton argued it was okay, blaming their supplier, Intertechnique, but Michael Schumacher didn't get away clean. He got disqualified for a late penalty and a 2-race ban for wearing out his skid block. Tough break for him, right? Secret fuel tank, BAR 2005 season. In 2005, BAR F1 was soaring high following a fantastic 2004 season led by Jenson Button's stellar performance. Guided by David Richards from ProDrive, they ranked second best among the teams. However, their new 007 chassis for the 2005 season initially struggled to keep up the pace. Their fortunes seemed to change at the San Marino Grand Prix, with Button claiming third place and Takuma Sato securing fifth. But the excitement turned sour when it was revealed that Button's car was 5 kilograms under the required weight during scrutineering. What's more, a concealed fuel compartment was discovered, which BAR claimed was essential for running the car. Initially, the stewards accepted their explanation, but the FIA disagreed and appealed the decision. The International Court of Appeal later ruled that the car couldn't meet the 600 kilogram minimum weight without using fuel as ballast within the secret compartment. They also couldn't ascertain if the car maintained the correct weight throughout the entire race. Consequently, BAR faced a 2-race ban from F1, missing the Spanish and Monaco Grands Prix. Surprisingly, this setback didn't stop Honda from acquiring the team in late 2005, having already bought a 45% stake the year before, and ending their management contract with ProDrive earlier than expected. Deliberate crashes. Michael Schumacher, 1994, 1997, and 2006. Michael Schumacher, known for his incredible achievements in F1, wasn't afraid to push the limits of sportsmanship. One of his most notorious moves was the collision with Damon Hill in Adelaide during the 1994 season's final race. The championship battle was already tense, with Schumacher leading by just 1 point. After an initial crash, Schumacher aggressively blocked Hill's attempt to overtake, leading to a collision that sent Schumacher careening into the wall and handing Hill a broken wishbone. Despite attempts to fix it, the incident ultimately cost Hill the title. Schumacher's controversial maneuvers didn't end with the incident involving Damon Hill. He repeated a similar move on Jacques Villeneuve in 1997 at Jerez, aiming a broadside hit on Villeneuve's Williams during a critical corner, causing both cars to veer off track. Villeneuve went on to secure the title as Schumacher faced disqualification from the season. Then, in 2006, during his rivalry with Fernando Alonso, Schumacher attempted to secure pole position by parking his car at the Rascasse corner, blocking Alonso's hot lap. While Schumacher claimed it was a result of a lockup, the FIA saw it as a deliberate move and penalized him, pushing him to the back of the grid. Spygate, McLaren, 2007 season. The infamous Spygate scandal of 2007 shook the very foundation of F1. It all began with Ferrari suspending chief mechanic Nigel Stepney due to irregularities at the factory. Subsequently, Ferrari took legal action against a McLaren employee, chief designer Mike Coughlin, who had received confidential Ferrari documents from Stepney. Coughlin then took these documents to a photocopying shop, but the whistleblower there alerted the authorities. McLaren's internal investigation claimed no use of Ferrari's information in their cars, but the FIA found otherwise. McLaren was ultimately disqualified from the Constructors' Championship and faced a staggering $100 million fine. While the drivers continued their battle, the controversy played a part in Kimi Räikkönen seizing the 2007 title. So which case do you believe is not cheating, but fair play? Let us know in the comments below. And for more great videos, please subscribe to our channel.